Hi, my name is Rich Collins. I'm a farmer in Dixon, California, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about planting a low residue cover crop in the furrows only to enhance infiltration of our rainwater resources. We're going to go just a few hundred feet this way to a field that's bedded up. Hi, Preemie. My wife and I live on a farm here where we produce hybrid asparagus seed. I have been farming since 1971, and my main part of my career in farming was occupied with the production of Belgian endive, a specialty lettuce crop. I've been advocating for growers to adopt cover crops in their operations in our area. There's some interest in it, but it's too big a step for many growers, understandably, because they have operations that are geared towards certain conditions with certain equipment under certain management protocols and contracts and things like that. So what we've come up with was a modest compromise, if you will, to sow a cover crop just in the furrow. What that does is it inhibits runoff because of the resistance provided by the cover crops in the furrow, and in inhibiting runoff, we automatically enhance infiltration, which is so important for us here in California. So here's a field that's been bedded up through the winter. This is the furrow, of course, where the single line of low residue cover crop would be established, leaving the basically 40 inches of bed top unencumbered, unimpeded, and free and clean and available to the grower to do his springtime operations as he needs to do. So by limiting the presence of the cover crop down here in the furrow, we're not impacting much up here on the bed top at all, but we're having a big impact on reduced runoff and enhanced infiltration. And this has all been researched over the last decade and a half by UC folks down in the Monterey County area. And they've demonstrated a reduction in runoff to the tune of 75 to 90%. So if that water doesn't run off, where is it going? It's going down into the ground and eventually, hopefully, into our groundwater basins where it belongs. And it's the best place to store water. So instead of letting it run off through our drainage systems, which exist here as a legacy of furrow irrigation, let's do everything we can to take advantage of those rains and send the water down into the ground, which is the best place to store it for not only our use, but future generations as well. It's adaptable to any cash crop that's going to be planted on a 60-inch bed or 40-inch bed. From an economic perspective, there's not a lot of costs involved. The seed requirements are somewhere in the realm of 6 to 10 pounds of seed per acre. The only supplementary operation is planting the furrows in the fall, and then perhaps another special operation or unique operation to spray out the furrows. That's it. So this is a small 4-foot no-till drill that we use for sowing cover crops in our asparagus fields. Sometimes growers use a grain drill to plant the low residue cover crop, just plugging up the holes, most of the holes in the grain drill, so that they're dropping seed just every 5 feet, essentially, into the furrow bottom. Or one can set up individual sowing units, 3, 4, 5 on a toolbar, to plant that seed line down on the bottom of the furrows. We're sowing grasses, and basically one species. Whatever's cheap and available. It could be triticale, it could be ryegrass, it could be wheat, it could be barley. The biggest challenge is to time the spraying of the cover crop in the furrow so that you don't let it get away and get too big and create too much biomass, which could be an issue for some growers. And that's to say in that 8, 10, 16-inch range when the grass is, it hasn't gotten too big, hasn't started to harden off and go to seed, you do want to spray it, stop its growth, and then let it senesce over the course of 3 to 6 weeks. So it's in the ground for about 3 months, more or less. And again, it's planted in the furrow bottom, brought up with winter rains. There's no supplemental irrigation, there's no fertilization required. There's just that 6 to 8, maybe 10 pounds of seed, depending on your seed source and the seed cost. So it's relatively simple, relatively short term, but big impact. So why even bother with this? We're stewards of a very precious resource. That is to say, our soils and our water and our environment. So I think as growers, we need to do everything we can to enhance our groundwater recharge so that when we hit dry periods, we have groundwater stored underneath us to grow a crop. So it's a play on the ups and downs of nature and farming, and we can do better to mitigate those risks long term and demonstrate the fact that we're stewards of these great resources.